Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Tech Tuesday. My guest today is Jamie Sarsfield. If I look a little weird, it's because I don't have glasses on because I had cataract surgery, and so now I don't need them except for reading. So that's why you see those hanging there. It's still pretty weird for me, honestly. I look at that and I think, where are my glasses? And so but that's why the look at. So I first met Jamie at the Senior Living Executive Conference in Tampa a few months ago.
Correct.
And he had this one. Well, I'm going to let him tell the story in a minute. So we'll get started our conversation right after this. Hey guys, Steve Moran here. So what do you think, Jamie? Do you think that means I got to redo all those videos with me and my tilted glasses?
I think you'll get away with it, Steve.
Great. So, Jamie, you founded this. We met at the Senior Living Executive Conference in Tampa. You were just wandering around meeting people. We had a great conversation. You founded this company, Your Hippo, in the UK, and had a successful exit, and you held on the right to do it here. And let's talk a little bit about what Your Hippo does and what makes it unique.
Yeah, so I'm the owner of Your Hippo LMS. So right now in the UK, we're basically, well, I'd like to say we are one of the leading e-learning LMS providers. We specialize mainly around the senior living space and the home health care sector. I always had a vision to take the product into the States many years ago, but I never expected the kind of the lift that we've got in the UK. I think at present we've probably got over 200,000 people every day logging into the platform. There could be over 650 care groups. That's 6,000 care services using the platform. But like I said, the US is an area that I've always wanted to tap into, and I think that we have a fantastic product that you guys would embrace. Hence, I wanted to go to Tampa, get the feelers, and the general consensus across the people I spoke to was they love the brand, they love the courses. So yeah, I really want to give it a shot and get a name for ourselves on the other side of the pond, basically.
Good. Well, so I want to talk a little bit about this online learning thing and just a couple of observations. I have bought a number of courses, not necessarily related to senior living, where I paid hard cash out of my credit card, to take these courses to learn things. I'm going to make a confession here. I probably shouldn't do it in public, but I'm going to. I don't think I've ever completed a single one of them. I've got one right now I bought about a month ago that I haven't even started yet. It wasn't a lot of money. And it's actually probably one of the benefits of buying an expensive course is you're a lot more likely, but you see a course for $20, oh yeah, I'll buy that and watch that. And of course, then you never do. But the other part of it is that I have a number of friends who are in the senior living industry, who've gone to work for new companies. And a big part of that onboarding process is very painfully sitting through online courses where they do it because they have to. I don't think they don't feel like they get anything out of it, that it's a complete waste of time. And it just seems like it should be better than that.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not going to lie. I think before I set off on the road doing yourhippo.com, Your Hippo LMS, I was under the same impression. I actually had a face-to-face training company for nearly 18 years, which was in the health and social care space in the UK. So I was a big anti-e-learning LMS person, but over the last 10 years, I've developed the product so much that I think the problem we've got with a lot of platforms, and what I've noticed about some of the products that people in the States are using, is basically people are just doing like uploaded PowerPoints, clicking buttons, getting to the end of the course. There's no interactivity. Our courses are completely the opposite to what that's like. So there's animations, there's interactions. You've got to engage with the course before you move on. They're fun. We have things like dyslexic friendly backgrounds. We've got keywords that pop up. We've got multi-languages on the subtitles to help and support our caregivers. So if you make the courses fun and enjoyable and good, you're going to get better outcomes with the people that want to run them. So from a carer's point of view, they will run them, and people do love our courses. But you're right, I have seen a lot of the stuff that's out there, which is just clicking buttons, uploaded PowerPoints, and there's no animations, no color, and it's difficult for people to sit and do.
Well, and the other thing I wonder is if it part of the problem is that when the people wrote the courses, they wrote it sort of assuming that nobody cared, and that it was just something that people had to do either for a regulatory process. And so they weren't, because I'm actually thinking, I think I lied to you. I think there was actually one course that I did finish. It wasn't long. It was like a 3 hour, it was a 3 hour worth of videos broken down. But what was interesting about it was that it was actually a video recording of a live presentation that was done. And so this guy taught, it was how to do viral videos or something. And he taught it in front of a group of people. So it was very interactive, and recorded it and then sold it. And it was better.
Yeah, it is. There's so many different things you should put into a course. At the end of the day, the end user has to enjoy doing them to get through them. So using videos, using little drop and drag fun interactions, it's all going to make it better for the end user. And if the end user is enjoying it and running them, then compliance is going to be higher. So our background here in our offices, we're all from the care sector. I'm very, very passionate about the senior living sector. That's where I'm from. So I know the demographics of the people that run our courses. I know how the courses should be presented. And I've got the expertise to be able to create that storyline for them courses to be animated. So we do set ourselves apart from our competitors because of our courses as well as our LMS.
So if you were, let's actually talk a little bit about how your platform works.
Yeah.
Talk to me first about, are you actually open for business? I know that you're sort of starting from scratch here in the US. So let's talk about where you're at.
I think, well, obviously we've got to appreciate in the UK, we kind of the leading provider, but let's put things into perspective. Like England is the size of one state, and you've got many of them. So, and one thing I did underestimate a little bit is I've done a lot of research, but I think I underestimated some of the compliance around states with the courses. So I've actually got a full compliance team now working over there. So they're taking us through all the state compliance and approvals for our courses that are mandatory and statutory for the senior living sector, and we're scheduled to be completed later this year. We've already got interest of over 17 to 20 big care groups in the States that want to come onto our platform in 2026. So we're just working around the clock to get our approvals with our compliance team. But yeah, the ball's rolling and we're really excited. I think we want to give people an alternative to what everybody's been doing. The feedback is that people are ready for an innovative change, streamlining processes, making things better, working with different platforms, using API integrations with rostering and HR platforms. So we're geared up for all that. So we're ready.
Okay, so I guess the biggest thing is I want to just know how you're going to make this more fun. And yet I think about this. So I just got back maybe half an hour before we went online. I went out and got my 3 miles in with my dogs. And for most of that period of time, I was listening to podcasts, which is just, it's like online learning without the video, right? And I probably listen to 5 to 10 hours of podcasts a week. So it can be made interesting, right? So talk to me. So let's play a scenario. I'm a senior living operator. I normally, when I onboard somebody, I've got all these courses. Some of it is related to regulatory stuff that's federal, that's still, most of it's going to be state. Some of it is going to be specific to my company, the values and the culture and the way we do things. Talk to me about how you would work with me to create a learning platform where at the end of whatever period of time, my team members would actually walk away and say, "Man, that was really good. I'm glad I did that."
There's two areas to the platform. So we've got the courses, which are cool, fun, interactive, hence the name Your Hippo. Staff love it. They want to go on. And you've also got the LMS, which is the learning management system. So technically, if you're an executive, you're board level or you're regional, whoever you are, you're probably going to be more interested in all the stats and the data and the matrices and the compliance reports. So there's two different aspects to the platform. The reason why big groups in the UK use our platform, number one, is because they know the staff are going to get through the courses and they like them and they enjoy them. So compliance is going to be higher. The content's fantastic. But number two, everyone from a manager of a service upwards will get a super user access so they can track everybody. They know what they're doing. They know where people are up to. They can get overall regional compliance, big group compliance. They can filter down. The world it's all stats, it's all data, it's all, you've got to make sure your percentages are where they need to be. So there's two areas, like I said, to the platform. There's the learner experience, and then you've got the management exec experience where they're looking at their whole group collectively. And then you've also got the IT project management kind of experience where they're going to go, well, let's go one step further. Let's link in our e-learning training platform with our rostering system. Let's streamline it. So if anybody comes in through our HR system, it adds them onto the Your Hippo platform straight away automatically. If anybody leaves on the HR, it automatically takes them off the Your Hippo platform as a leaver. If people are booked on because the platform's also a full face-to-face booking system within it. So a lot of the big groups that you know, Steve, they're going to also not just e-learning, they're going to do face-to-face training and virtual training. That all talks to the rostering platform as well. So there's different levels what people get out of our system. Depends where you sit, basically.
So are you, when you talk about face-to-face training, can you talk to me a little bit more about that? Is like that like this or like doing a Zoom call?
So one example of so with all your staff, a care group, just think of a care group in your head, all their ground workers, their caregivers, their nurses, they're all going to have to do their statutory and mandatory training, right? A lot of that can be e-learning because they prefer it because they're not coming on site to do it. So on-site training is where you might have somebody come in to teach first aid, or they might do the hoist training, the practical stuff. In order to control and manage them face-to-face trainings where people are going on site, they will use our whole booking system. And when the trainer that's been in for the day has said that, wonderful, everybody was great, you've all passed first aid or basic life support, they mark them as passed on the day, and then they will hit the matrix as compliant in that area. So it's everything collectively.
Okay, great. So would somebody use your platform? I'm very ignorant about this, so I'm realizing as I'm sitting here talking to you, the more I'm talking, the more I realize that, man, there's lots of stuff I don't know that I got to ask about. Yeah. So let's say that I want to just have a weekly, fireside chat with my team members that I would record, and I actually want to make sure everybody's watching it. Can I use your platform to do that?
Yeah, of course.
Is that well suited?
Yeah. So if you've got bigger organizations potentially have a learning and development team, whatever, and they're very creative, so they could, on our platform, you can also go to the content creator area, so you can create your own in-house courses. You can create a video. And then what you could do with that, Steve, is you could say, right, I've created a video for my company. I want all my caregivers to see that. And then you can just assign that onto their dashboards and make it that they have to run that course. It could be about the ethos and philosophy of, the senior living group. So staff can be creative and do their own stuff as well. It doesn't just have to be Your Hippo courses. It can be SCORM courses where different courses sit on our platform, or they can create their own courses within our LMS.
Okay.
Are you okay with that? Did you get?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it getting any more simple?
Yeah. Well, so it sounds like what I'm hearing is that much of what the content that's going to be available is going to be I live in California, right?
Yeah.
And so I know that oftentimes when an executive director or somebody come on board, they'll need to spend 2 or 3 days watching sort of compliance videos, right? And that's stuff that you would actually create rather than the company, and that would be standard across every company, multiple organization would use that. Is that correct?
Yeah, so you could have the Hippo course, which would be a cool course, or if they wanted to make a bespoke course for their business, they would use our content creator area, and they could create their own course for their staff to run, which could detail their own policies and procedures, as an example.
Great. And how long does it take to get up to speed on your platform?
When people go live with us, you probably find that learning and development managers or compliance people, they're pretty up to speed already with systems. There's a lot of systems in the States. It's them that are dealing with it. Learners themselves, the area that we've created is so simple to use. When a new caregiver comes to a care group, they get a welcome email, and all the courses, which is defined by their role, they're automatically in there. So if Steve Moran was a caregiver at Bob Smith's care home, or senior living home, as soon as he turns up, he gets his welcome email. What he has to do is really simple, and it's a really simple dashboard with your own compliance. So that, for a learner, it's 2 seconds. But just to set up a company is pretty simple, really. We get data from their existing provider, do a data import, keep all the records, and that's a bit technical anyway, Steve. Don't worry.
That's all right. I mean,
yeah,
I'm just sort of looking at what the time frame is, because I think that the challenge is that once I've got a system, it's really hard to change, right? I look at that and say, oh, man, I got it set up. I'm going. I don't know if I want to make a change.
No, we see that's where people in the UK have kind of got into the grind of, oh, it's like changing your car insurance. People can't be bothered. It's kind of like, it's just something you want to do because innovation is moving so quick. Things are getting better. Things are getting quicker. So we had a client over in the UK, and they've got 11,000 staff. We onboarded them from start to finish in less than 3 weeks. So the culture of, oh, I can't be bothered because it's too much of a big deal. It's not. It is really simple.
Okay, good. So let's talk a little bit more. So one of the things that happens in the senior living industry that I'm actually very opposed to is that we are too nice. We don't want to trash talk our competition. We assume the best out of everybody, and I believe that we need to be more competitive.
Yeah.
And in being competitive, what it does, I think that if you look at, say, Silicon Valley, the world of technology, right, the competition is brutal. But what that does for the consumers is it gives them more and better products. You look at the four or five big companies that are duking it out in the space of artificial intelligence, large language models, right? And they really want to kill each other, right? And in doing so, I, as a user of AI, just get, every time I log on to ChatGPT or Claude, I get a better experience because they're working so hard to get better. Yeah. So we're not going to name names. I don't want to name names here, but because I'm mostly because I'm too chicken to do it, honestly. But what I want to know is, talk to me about what's wrong with the existing platforms and what you solve.
I do find that people over in America, that they're ready for change. I think the other thing is people have been using the same platform for years and years, and things move on. People should change. Even if you're on a really good platform, even if something's working and your contract's coming out, you should always have a little look around of what's available. Is it meeting my needs still? Could anything be more streamlined? And also, which is the biggest thing, is what the chief financial officers kind of look at is cost. So how much are we spending? Can we save money? So then there's a fine line between quality and money that they're saving. And we are very, 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 very reasonably priced. In fact, from looking at quite a lot of our competitors in the States, we come under kind of all of them, to be honest, with a really, really fantastic platform. So everybody should be looking around, whether it's they're looking at us or they're looking at other e-learning LMS providers, they should look around. I think the thing is over in America is what I've noticed. I think it's critical. I think it's really important that you get a lot of state approvals, because if you've got a senior living group and you're in 20 states, you're not going to get 20 different platforms. You need one platform that covers the 20 states. And I think that's where a lot of providers can't do that. So I think that's really key for us. We've just got to make sure we get all our ticks in boxes by the end of this year, which we're on track for.
Yeah, that's a big lift. I mean, I assume there's a lot of crossover from state to state in terms of the kinds of things that need to be covered.
It's not massive, to be honest. And the other thing is, regards to course content, if just to pick a subject, just say dementia for an example. If people have dementia in the States, it's the same dementia they've got in the UK. It's just some of the legislations that are different. Same with autism. Autism is the same in the States as in the UK or is in Australia. It's just how the course is produced and how you can cut down on relating to. So instead of using, like in the UK, we might use the term CQC, which is the Care Quality Commission. What we should now use is, say, your regulator, which is a generic word for wherever you are. But also just make sure them the key elements of the state approvals are in them courses.
Gotcha. And so, but it sounds like there are a lot of boxes to check. And I assume you start with sort of the states that are most heavily regulated, assuming that that's going to translate to this, make it easier for the states that are less. So, which is the worst state? Mine, California?
No, well, I think there's a few that we're focusing on first, because obviously I have noticed as well in America, everybody all the older people kind of move to like Florida and California.
Yeah.
No disrespect, Steve, because they've got the weather. So there's a lot more senior living facilities in them areas. So obviously from a commercial point, which is what I have to look at, is let's target the most, effective states, which, it's Texas, Florida, California, but that my compliance team's doing that anyway. I just kind of get weekly updates. So
yeah. So you're really, in terms of sort of your launch, that'll happen, or 26 is when you'll sort of go live, or are you live now?
Yeah. So basically we're now looking at clients. We've got a heap of people that we're in talks with and demos that we're working with. And a lot of people, if you think about it, they are in contracts, but then contracts, they might have to give 6 months notice. So we're aiming to start targeting some of the senior living groups now, ready for the start of 2026, because they're going to have to look at their contracts and their renewal kind of or notice periods. So that's our timeline, to be fair. So
cool. Well, this is exciting. I think that every time we have a new competitor come in the marketplace, it of course is hard for the existing entrenched players, and but I think ultimately it makes everybody better, and so it's going to be super exciting to see how this all progresses. As you sort of look at the online learning in the UK versus the US, what are the big differences that you're seeing?
Unfortunately for you guys, there's a huge difference in the quality of the courses and the content. Again, from what I've seen over in the States, it's very wordy. It's not user friendly. A lot of the courses, the ones that I've done with various platforms, like I said, uploaded PowerPoints, kind of just knocking a course up quick and getting it out there. Albeit you do want staff to run them quick, but our ethos is, because we know about care, we've been in it for a long time. Is I just don't want click, get to the end. I want competencies between each lessons and topics. So we put a lot of quality into the modules rather than just getting to the end and doing a quick test. That's not our style.
Yeah, it would actually be interesting I wonder if anybody's ever, maybe you might know the answer to this. I wonder if anybody's ever actually sort of compared outcomes, right? I worry a lot that when you've got these regulatory requirements for education, that what happens is you measure effectiveness by getting the boxes clicked, and rather than whether anybody learns anything else. Sort of not quite in this arena, but very related to it is, we require virtually every state, probably every state requires a certain amount of continuing education for executive directors. And they mostly get that by going to conferences and getting credit for that. But I don't know if anybody's ever actually evaluated whether that makes any difference or not.
I think they should, because I think as well as a provider, if you're providing the best you can, whether it's for your residents or your staff, you're doing your best. But by giving them the best education around how they're caring for the residents, surely that's better than just giving them any old thing to click a button and get to the end of. I totally understand if people are doing yearly courses and they're very experienced and they're good at what they do. I get that element of it, but sometimes people, it's not good enough just giving them a little thing to click a button. And people do enjoy, believe it or not, Steve, a lot of people actually do enjoy learning if it's in the right way and they can understand it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love learning. It's why I listen to podcasts when I'm out walking or when I'm driving, because and it's really critical to my business. And I want to be better at what I do. And as a provider, I think I'd assume that I've hired people who want to be continuously get better. And so it's my obligation as a provider to provide really good content that's actually going to help them get better rather than just check a box, right?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
So, but and is the content sort of the body of knowledge about the same in the US versus the UK?
It's quite similar. It is pretty similar. I think the difference is where I've had to get the compliance team in is just making sure we hit them state approvals of what each individual state wants within the courses.
Right.
But again, like I said, also names are different. So we might say infection control, you might say universal of protection of infections or something like that. So it's not a big deal for us. And obviously we have a full content creation team anyway. So it's quite straightforward. But again, it's not just the courses that are great. We've got an amazing LMS. So that's why the big companies buy into us, because it just streamlines the whole learning and learning development processes.
Cool. So we are about out of time. Tell me how people should engage with you, should talk with you.
Yeah. So the easiest thing to do is we've got the website, which is just yourhippo.com. Also, my email is just Jamie, JAMIE @yourhippo.com. You can get me on LinkedIn as well. I'm quite interactive on LinkedIn. I always put notices out that we're doing. I put one today, Steve, for us to say that we're running this podcast, which is pretty cool. But yeah, there's loads of different ways to get in touch with us. But yeah, one thing I can say is before you tie into another period with your current provider, you need to start looking around and having a look what's out there. There's some good stuff out there, and obviously we are one of them.
Good. Actually, I have one more question for you. I should have asked you at the beginning of the show, and I didn't, but I got to.
I think I know what you're going to say. You're going to say why you're hippo or something, aren't you?
Yeah, I want to know about the name.
Well, I think if you look at a lot of providers that are in our space, I think all the names are boring, to be honest. There's nothing funky or fun. Or we've got a pink hippo. It's pretty cool. We have some fantastic merchandise like hippo mugs and pens. People always want us to send us some stuff out. But yeah, I believe that they kill like loads of people in Africa every year. So we might have got the friendly kind of quirky animal kind of wrong, but hey ho, it's what it is. But one thing that people did say in Tampa when we was at the Senior Living Exhibition is they did love the brand, and that actually attracted them to look at them what we did. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I love the name. I think it's very unique. Jada, who's producing behind, I don't know. We did a name change several years ago, and that was very, very painful. So I'm not sure I'm ready to do that again. But it makes me think, well, we could have maybe done better than that. So I don't know. Jamie, thank you so much for joining me. Great conversation. I wish you luck in this. And hang on for just a minute after we're done, and we'll do a little debrief.
That's fine. Thank you.